Diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limousine riding, jet flying, son of a gun, and I'm having a hard time holding these alligators.
You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on us, flaring on us. We Ric Flairing on us, flaring on us. You talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on us, flaring on us. Yeah, we Ric Flairing on us, flaring on us. It's apparent these girls staring. I'm Ric Flairing, gold across my chest. I'm fresh to death, I'm Paul Bearing, not at all scary. When I open like Betty Wops and find to these Urkels that's going in like a carry shot. Woo! I'm going in like a Mary Pop off that Mary Crop at the top flow at the Marriott. So questioning me is like questioning you. See, we the best dressed, so come and get blessed with the crew. Not one but two, different ways to slaughter your crew. Committed tat across the chest, I guess she blessed with the truth. People want to see them checks, representation of proof. Living through my elders, trying to resonate to the youth. But ain't nothing to get my flash on. Longevity is heavily embedded in my melanin. Layman terms, I last long. My grind repetitive, I'm smoother than real silk. Lyrical cash cow who can't cry over spilled milk. We in here. You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on us, flaring on us. We Ric Flairing on us, flaring on us. You talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on us, flaring on us. We Ric Flairing on us, flaring on us. This ain't no normal situation, this preparation with greatness. Industry full of fakeness, it's really up for the taking. See, life is what happened to you, more so how you take it. Don't get stripped of your knowledge and mentally leave you naked. I like to live otherwise. I'm sorry that I'm fresh to death. I put the polo and apologize. See, black son, we ain't nothing like the mother guys. Quit to socialize, we organize, then we mobilize. Off the deep end like a scuba diver. And no confusion, just keep it pushing like Uber drivers. Woo! Business fresh just like a supervisor in a Gucci visor. Can't find a smoother rhymer. You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on us, flaring on us. We Ric Flairing on us. You talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairing on us, flaring on us. We Ric Flairing on us, flaring on us.
Yeah, DQ baby. Shout out that boy Nigga for that fire track. Hey, Black Sun, sun up. What's up, Vinny Vegas? What in Vegas? Yeah. Shout out Pharaoh's Kids, D-Phase, yeah, Bubba C, yeah, Ric Flairing on them, Ric Flairing on them, Ric Flairing on them, Ric Flairing, son up, baby.
Hey, Roundtable Season 2. Scotty and Blue. Backpack coming through. Let's square it away. Ain't nothing like the round table. I pay you if able to find better on cable. They made you appreciate Scotty and Blue. Football media, walking encyclopedia. Scott understand the Blue got the stats handy. Football, the topic around it, they ain't dancing. Stat sheet longer than Clifford Harris's rap sheet. He run a phone, see why you playing them that deep. Awkward silence, no need to be quiet. You know you saw the game, we might as well talk about it. Somebody caught a body in front of everybody. Pick six, cornerback out here committing robberies. How much you wanna bet we could cover the spread? 50 yards in the game, 100 after the catch. Throw it up if you want, I'ma grab it and flex. Season 2, Captain Pettier, still with the mess. You can move how you want, but we gon' move too. Roundtable with your boys, yeah, Scotty and Blue. Backpack. Poet.
What is going on, everybody? Happy Friday. I hope everybody's having a good day. Listen, you already know what it is, the Roundtable. Had to push it back. That's on me. Had a tornado warning. Power was out all last night. I sent Blue a picture of me
It was a struggle. It was a struggle.
We was just in here with the fireplace going, you know what I'm saying? But we here with the round table.
I'm adding flashlights to the wedding registry.
Oh, lanterns. Some electric lanterns. No, we need some, bro, because we was out here struggling. The power didn't come back on until like 2 o'clock in the morning.
Man, it was that. Like, I heard it was bad. I heard that because there was some in North Alabama. Like for the Auburn show, we had one guy who couldn't come because there was a tornado in the city, and the whole city was without power.
Yeah, bro, it was crazy, bro. Like usually, like in the area that we at, like if the wind blow hard, the power goes out, but it comes back on like within an hour or something like that. But I was shocked. I was like, dang, we ain't coming. But the struggle was real, bro. The struggle was real. I was like, I said, blew a picture like it looked like some old prairie house on the prairie type stuff. We was right in front of the fireplace, trying to get some light and some heat. But it was good though. We are everybody safe and things like that. Shout out to my boy BJ. He told me about the tornado warning. Let me tell you a story though, Blue. This is what happened when you listen. Everybody want a girlfriend, right? Everybody, I want to. Let me tell you, right? So I get off my live. She banging on the door like, don't say that. I get off my live, right? And it's like dog. I'm looking out the window, bro. I can't even see like my deck on the trees because the water it's just ripping. Like, shh. He gonna be like, are we going to get something to eat? I'm like, I'm like, who's driving in that? Like, what are you talking about? She's like, because I'm hungry. I'm like, there's food in the house. Like, I'm not driving out there. So she gonna be like, is that a no? I'm like, yes, it's a no. No, like, what? But we end up going to Burger King anyway. We waited till it died down and stuff like that. But man, like, I'm talking about Blue, it just hit. I'm talking about like, shh, look like Twister, just everything blowing. And she's talking about
this is why you're getting married. And I'm not, because I would have some DoorDash driver would have had to put his life on the line for my girl to eat. Because I'd have been like, me? I was like, you must be talking to somebody else because I'm not going out there to get no food. Like, you got a cell phone with a debit card. You better call. You better call Dave to go to Burger King and get you something to eat.
Yeah, bro. I was so shocked. She's like, so is that a no? Like, have you seen outside? Have you seen outside? No, it could have been flooded. She's like, so I mean, just gonna let me starve? Like, I'm like, yeah, we both starve. I'm sorry, bro. I just had to tell somebody that. I was like, wow, man. But she rolled with me though. So she rolled with me. So if we was gonna die, we was gonna die together. But I just thought that was crazy. But anyway, man, listen, you already know we're here at Roundtable with my boy Blue. All right. Hey, listen, we're going right into it. Recaps. You already know what it is. FCS Championship, Blue. Tell us about the experience, man. You were there live in action. Tell us, you've been to the Celebration Bowl and you've been to the FCS Championship. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, no, I didn't get to make the Celebration Bowl. Remember? My flights all got moved around and I wasn't able to make it. But I will say this, like, it's aggravating that they sold out the stadium. It's 18K. Everyone's talking about it. It is what it is. But what I will say is the city of Frisco, there's so much to do.
Oh, yeah.
And the bar scene is crazy. Like after the award ceremony with the Walter Payton, man, all the media members and a bunch of people who watched the show all went out to the bars. There's just a lot of stuff to do. There's really nice restaurants, man. Some actually pretty good food, man. I like Dallas. I don't know. Maybe I'm a little biased. I'm not from there, but I really like it the few times I've been. But the game overall, man, when I tell you, Scotty, 18, almost 19,000 people, not a single person sat down for 60 minutes.
Wow.
I'm talking about with the old people on the 50, the end zone, everybody stood up and was loud the whole time.
I love it.
It was just like what side of the stadium the noise was coming from the entire time, even when it started to get out of hand. And it was awesome. And especially because I don't know if they do this at the Celebration Bowl, but the fact that they let the fans storm the field to be with the team.
No. Hell no, they're not doing that.
Like, okay, well, they let the fans storm the field so they could be up front and close to the trophy presentation. And man, they had a little spot for the photographers or whatever. I stayed in the main crowd just because I wanted to see what it was like. Man, the fact that people were crying and like there were parents with kids pushing up to the front to be with like their sons who were up there, and man, the emotion. It was the first ever national championship for South Dakota State. And after all this time of being so close and consistently choking in the playoffs pretty much, man, it was just an amazing experience, man. I really enjoyed the game, and it was a blowout, but man, the atmosphere was unbelievable. And just in terms of the noise and the fan interaction, to me, I would much rather have a smaller game where everybody is in tune with what's happening and everyone's super, super invested in the game, and it's loud and they're emotional and they have signs and people in bunny suits for the Jackrabbits dressing up. Like, to me, that's what makes college football special. I'll take that over an 90,000 person game where nobody cares and it's quiet.
Yeah. I.e. the Bayou Classic. But anyway, so
I've never been. That was not me. You
didn't say it. I did. But because that's a whole nother story. But no, you know what I'm saying, man. I'm glad you got that experience, man. I'm glad. Let me ask you this, Blue. You said it. You said if South Dakota State didn't win this one, I don't know when there's another opportunity to get it. The fact that they came in and they set the tone on their first drive and said, listen, we got Isaiah, we got Amar, we going to run it down your throat. And North Dakota State, if you're going to stop us, stop us. How was that going into this game?
I'm not surprised. And me and you talked about it on the show, and I know I talked about it on my other live. The knowledge that you can hang with a team and that you can beat them means more than almost anything. They came into the game saying, we've beaten this team 3 straight times. We know what it takes. We know where we have the advantage, and we're going to take advantage of it. Amar Johnson, Isaiah Davis, both of these guys are studs, and Amar had probably a career game. They could not stop him.
I told you when we did the I said that kid is I saw him on tape. I said he's just a totally different style of running back. He is the big play guy. Even though Isaiah Davis, no, he's a dog. Amar just has a different type of speed, a different type of burst and agility that is, when he gets behind them offensive linemen, it's hard to find them.
And what's scary, they both come back next year.
Oh, my God.
They're both back. Amar is a sophomore. Isaiah's a junior.
Come on, man. This ain't fair.
And on top of that, Mark Gronowski is a sophomore, the quarterback. So they got and also they weren't supposed to come back. Both the Yankee brothers are utilizing their 6-year of eligibility, and they're both coming back.
That's wild.
So all the skill positions there. And I do want to say, man, Mark Gronowski, I know a lot of people don't know his story. The national championship against Sam Houston in the spring is where he suffered his season-ending injury where he had to miss like a year of football. This was his comeback season for him to go into Frisco, win the MVP, 223, 4 total touchdowns, including the one he had on the ground. To see that type of performance and to see his emotion on stage, knowing that that was the same field where he almost saw his career end, and to come back and win the first national title for his school, be the MVP, man, I loved it. But for me, the real takeaway was those defensive tackles, man. I've talked about them so much. They don't pad the stat box. I think Winkleman had a late sack, but man, if you watch film and you understand football, they pushed around the interior, and Adam Bach, Jason Freeman, those linebackers were just able to go and eat and hunt, and they didn't even get touched sometimes on certain plays. I don't think people understand how important it is to have a game-changing defensive tackle pair like they had with Winkleman and Caleb Sanders on the interior of that defensive line.
Absolutely. Well, in this sense, in any sense, we already know when you get that pressure up the A gap and right in front of the quarterback, that is where you want to get that dialed up pressure coming from. But when you going against a team like North Dakota State, which prides themselves on offensive line play as well as pushing that pocket and moving it, and they're able to have that stalemate or win that advantage, it definitely feeds to whatever you're trying to do against this game. But absolutely, man, I enjoyed the game. I'm just glad South Dakota State has won it. It gives some parity in the FCS football realm. You know what I'm saying? Even though it is a Dakota school, it just does give it some parity. And listen, there's nothing better than seeing a rematch of this game or these two teams, next year. I know Hunter's going to the draft, correct?
Yeah. Hunter's going. Yeah, Hunter's gone.
Hunter's gone. Cody's gone and things like that. But, listen, I know North Dakota State is a well-oiled machine. So they're gonna just funnel them in, funnel them out, and keep this thing rolling. Let me ask you this, Blue. Do you think this game should have been played closer to the Dakotas than it was in Texas, or did you like the environment as it was?
The environment was great, but I do think it should have. But the problem is they fell into the same trap the SWAC did with their TV contract. Frisco got a long-term deal that can't be broken, so they got the game. There was nothing you could do, no matter who goes, what happens. If you get a better offer, the contract's locked in up until, I don't remember what year. I think it's 2026, 2027, the renegotiations happen. They're locked in. Now, if I would have loved to see this game played in Minneapolis, that would have been a great atmosphere. North Dakota State plays Eastern Washington there to open next season. And you also even had Arrowhead. If that was available, you could have played it in Kansas City. I think both of those locations would have been geographically better for the fan bases. But at the end of the day, man, you got to sell out from two schools from the Dakotas in the middle of Texas. That's pretty solid.
It's about as solid as you're gonna get for a regional base brand and things like that. Because fans traveling is great for brands, great for football, and it's great for everything else. What are some things behind the scenes that from the FCS game you're like, wow, that's dope? Like I didn't know they do this, or I didn't know they do that, or even the award ceremony that you went to.
The award ceremony was cool. I didn't know it was aired on TV. Bally Sports, whatever it is. Apparently it airs on there, but it was cool just to be able to talk to some of the people. Like the fact that I was able to go up and talk to some of the ADs, talk to some of the players, to coaches. That was really cool. I got to sit at the table with some guys from the athletic and kind of talk to them about just the business of sports media and things like that. But in terms of behind the scenes stuff, man, I mean, there really wasn't anything that stuck out. I mean, it was a lot more stringent in terms of credential process that I'm used to. Like photographers had to have like a certain color armband, and you were only able to go here and there. And like they had the field marshals that, I mean, it was just pretty much like organized chaos after the game in terms of, and they handled the field storming really well, man, because it could have got crazy.
Wow.
And they handled it pretty well. But in terms of the behind the scenes, I just think they know what to do. They've been in Frisco for a few years now. And on top of that, they kind of have a staff that's kind of stayed together in terms of putting that event on. But I mean, overall, everything went smoothly, man. I had a blast, and I can't wait to go back next year.
Did you meet the GOAT, Sam Herder?
I did. Me and Sam went to the bar together after the award ceremony, man. Sam's the GOAT, man. He was a cool dude. I got to meet Craig Haley as well, and all the guys from FCS Fan Nation. And shout out to my guy, Dustin the Rev, who had his big bunny suit that he wore out to the game. I don't know how he did it. He stormed the field with the bunny suit. Dude is hilarious. Also, man, I don't know if you've met a lot of people from South Dakota. I don't know what they put in the food up there, bro. Everybody's like 6'6".
Woo!
I'm talking about, I went to the South Dakota State tailgate before the game. I'm like 6'1". Like you've met me, like an average height guy, bro. I felt like I had trouble finding people. I was like, hey, bro, can you like look over the crowd and tell me what's coming? Bro, everybody is big as hell for no reason. They look like they're all defensive tackles.
And they just breed them. And listen, that's how they get. That's how they get what they get, man. They get what they get. I used to say, like, when I went to the small towns in Texas, I'm like, kids just out here throwing cows. Like, y'all been just out here really just throwing cows for fun. Like, oh yeah, let me just pitching hay. I'm like, wow, this is different. But hey, it is what it is, man. Hey, let's get to this FBS recap. All right, I know you were. I know you picked Georgia to win. Listen, I'm 0-2, man. I need to stop picking champions.
Yeah, it's bad, bro.
God, I'm actually 0-3. I think I picked Jackson to be. Yeah,
you did.
Jesus, woo. Anyway, right? My jinx picks are locked. Anyway, Georgia ends up beating TCU, demolishing them. Actually, this is the worst losing effort in a bowl game ever. I say that again, ever. All right, and there's been some massacres, but this is the worst loss in bowl game history. What does this say about TCU? Let me ask you this: what does it say about TCU? And I still think the playoff committee got it right. Okay, they earned it. They made their mark. Michigan dropped the ball. Blah blah blah. Okay, cool, whatever. But how do you feel about the football committee? And then, are you ready for the 12-team playoff as well?
I'm ready for the 12-team playoff, and I think what people get caught up in is they're overlooking how great this Georgia team was and blaming it on TCU not being very good.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if we talked about it on this show, or I talked about it on one of the other FBS shows I was on. I said against Ohio State, Georgia played C- football and found a way to win. How scary will that team be when they play A+ football? You just found out.
Facts.
And that pregame speech by Kirby Smart, and you could tell in the pregame interview on the sidelines where he was like, "We're just going to go out here and hunt." You knew it was going to be a problem. And Stetson Bennett had probably a career game. He was
perfect.
So efficient and consistently made plays. And he could have, and this sounds crazy, could have played himself into a day 2 pick.
Easily.
If not day 1, if he comes out and kills the combine.
Easily. A 4th round pick. Easily.
Yeah. Listen, it's time to, because here's how I'm looking at it too. Everyone says it's the talent around him. Outside of Brock Bowers, an average fan can't name a single wide receiver. A kid named Ladd McConkey was torching people. Ladd McConkey is who you're hanging your hat on? Come on, man. And Brock Bowers is a monster too.
Listen, bro. And I wish he could go into the draft this year.
Yeah.
He deserves it. But
he's the next coming of like Gronkowski and all. I mean, he's so athletic for being that big. He averaged 21 yards per catch in this game as a tight end. And Ladd McConkey. Listen, Bill Belichick is somewhere having dreams about drafting Ladd McConkey in the 8th round as an undrafted free agent and winning a Super Bowl. Bill Belichick is drooling right now. But outside of that, Darnell Washington, the 5-star, non-factor. Mitchell, 4-star wide receiver, non-factor. Karis Jackson, 5-star transfer, not a factor. He's doing it with 2 guys who, coming into Georgia, were not those guys. So, man, we got to start giving Stetson Bennett some credit, because I keep hearing, oh, he's not as good as this quarterback. He's not as good at that quarterback. He keeps winning and keeps outperforming your quarterback. So eventually we're going to have to say he's better than your favorite college quarterback.
I mean, listen, man, when you're doing it at the biggest moment, listen, let's be real. There's times where a quarterback just manages the game and he doesn't lose you the game. But against Ohio State, he went out and won that game. It don't matter how you want to flip it or how he's this, he's that, the mailman, whatever. He went out and won that game. And this is and remember I said this, Blue. I said, how much of a emotional letdown was TCU going to have? Because when you have to pick yourself up and you have to show to the world why you're supposed to be there, you put all your eggs in one basket against Michigan, and then you got to come back the next week and play Georgia. That's hard. That's hard for anybody. You know what I'm saying? So, but I agree with you. They played C- football and almost got beat. They came and played Georgia football and straight said, you're not supposed to be on the field with us. And it looked that way all too familiar. And by halftime, I was just like, man, can they just do a running clock? I ain't even going to hold you. By halftime,
they could have put up 80 if they wanted.
Oh, easily. Easy. And see, me, I would have done it. That's just the person that I am. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm that ninja to where I'm like, yo, I'm about to put 80 on you because I'm going to show Nick Saban, because Nick Saban ain't never done that. And I'm definitely about to put my name in just another level of petty, because they be like, man, coach, you could have called it. I did call the dogs off. I put my second string in, and they still dogging them. So what am I supposed to do? I only can coach one team. You know what I'm saying? So, and I really saw that 3-3-5 get exposed in this game.
Yep.
It really got exposed in this game because they went with the same mindset of clogging that middle with the center guard over head up. And all Georgia would do was literally bend that thing like this, and they would have it going off tackle, and your line and 13 winners had to be there. And if he wasn't there, he's running. It was over. It was just simply over. So, but if this was supposed to be Georgia's rebuilding year, Blue. I mean, they lost all those guys in the draft. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was like, oh, 15 players went into the draft.
15. And they had 5 defensive players that were first-round picks last year.
This was supposed to be their rebuilding year. They go back to back. I mean, you lose Stetson, but I mean, come on. I mean,
they got a 5-star backup who's been sitting. I think it's Carson Beck, if I'm not mistaken, is his name.
What does next year look like for Georgia Blue?
I got them winning it again.
God
I mean, listen, and I hear the rebuilding year because a lot of people said that. If you go back and watch my show in August, I said Georgia was winning the Natty. I thought they were going to win it the whole time. They're just that good. And all those players are going to lose. Guess what? All 5 stars back. And a lot of the guys who made a big impact outside of Stetson really are guys who are coming back.
Yeah, the guy with the glasses on the sideline, he's supposed to be the best defensive player. He's coming back, correct?
Nolan? Yeah, Nolan's coming back because he got hurt.
Yeah. So,
and then 13, Michael Williams is a true freshman. One of their starting safeties is a true freshman.
In the corner, one of the corners is a true freshman.
Yeah.
So, Dre asks, does you think Alabama have a chance?
I mean, they always got a chance. As long as you got Nick Saban as the head coach, you have a chance. It'll be interesting to see how they replace Bryce Young, because I do think there was a step down when you saw Bryce Young go out this year, and he also has to get the discipline, because if Alabama goes out there against Georgia and has 14 penalties for 100-plus yards, they're losing. You can't have those mistakes. So Bama's always got a chance. Ohio State will probably be back too. They got a lot of talent coming back. You're probably Georgia will be up there, and then probably USC will be in the mix somehow. But
Auburn in this mix.
No, not there. But well, they're probably like 8. They're 7-5, 8-4, probably mid-level SEC. That's give Hugh Freeze a few years now.
Okay, I just
hey, my bad. No, my bad. Deion's gonna be there with Colorado on College Game Day again.
What? Let me ask you this: What has Kirby done at Georgia that has made them so dominant that Alabama? It seems like he's kind of surpassing what Nick Saban is doing. Not in totality. Yeah. I'm just talking about right here, right now. It looks like they're a step ahead of Alabama.
Man, he's just been, to be frank, he's been out recruiting Alabama. He has. And you can say, because I hate this narrative, and I talked about it with Kobe on his FBS show, is there's this narrative that Kirby Smart, Nick Saban, throw in another big name head coach, can't coach. All they do is have the best talent. But when you look and break down the stats of who lands to 5 stars and those 5 stars pan out, guess who's developing the best talent?
Georgia and
Kirby Smart and Nick Saban. All those 5 stars that go to Miami suck. All the 5 stars that go to Texas have sucked. All the 5 stars that go elsewhere have sucked and haven't led to wins. At Bama, Georgia, and even Clemson there for a little while, they were getting 5 stars, developing them into true 5 stars at the college level and winning games. That's hell of a coaching job. This narrative that Kirby Smart and Nick Saban can't coach is dumb. It shows you don't know anything about football, because those guys take those recruits and they still have to develop them. The stars don't matter at the end of the day. Like, you still got to come to college and produce. So I really do think Kirby's just been out recruiting, and he's done a great job at developing the talent he has. And even the 5 stars he doesn't land still end up pretty, like the 4 3-stars that he's landed have turned into superstars. Stetson Bennett was a walk-on.
Yeah.
So you got to give Kirby some credit, man. He's coaching them up and recruiting at a high level. And those are 2 of the biggest things you have to have success at the FBS level.
I'm excited to see what it looks like coming back. I haven't seen Georgia's schedule, but people have been texting me and tweeting me saying that their schedule is super easy and they'll be right back in the mix as they always are and going forward. So Kirby is keeping the most talented. He said Kirby is keeping the most talented 5 stars from GA NGA. That's, hey, if you can't lock down your own state, and I know you say it about Alabama all the time. You know what I'm saying? You got perennial powerhouses in your state. You got to keep those kids in house. You're gonna get the kids that come from outside, but you got to keep those kids in house. You know what I'm saying? And it is what it is. And I think Texas A&M is the biggest example of that. 5 star. All 5 stars are not created equal. And all coaching is not, because literally you win the class with 5 stars and you absolutely suck.
Ask Texas A&M what happened. Ask Texas A&M how it felt to have a losing record
with a high payroll. Okay, with a high payroll. So they
Georgia's schedule. I don't know if you've seen it. Oh God, it's bad. Bro, they might not play a ranked team. Outside of their SEC, they'll probably have a few ranked teams. But bro, hang on, let me try to find this 2023 schedule, because it is atrocious.
They got a cream puff schedule.
Oh, they do. It's really, really bad. Hang on, let's see.
Let me try to bring it up real quick. UGA football schedule. Okay. Let me see. I got it. I got it right here. Yeah, I'll bring it up real quick. All right. Present. Share screen. Window. Here we go. All right. Hopefully this is right.
Yeah, it is.
Right. So you got UT Martin,
Ball State.
Oh man, hold on. Let me slide. Can I slide? Let me slide. All right. So you got UT Martin, Ball State, South Carolina. God, these first 4 games is trash.
Oh, the 5th game's still trash. It's at Auburn.
Oh my gosh. At Auburn, Kentucky, Vanderbilt, Florida, Missouri, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Georgia Tech. Wow. Okay. Who's their rival?
Auburn's their rival, so that's always like one cross division game. They get Ole Miss as a cross division game, who I don't ever trust to win a big game. And South Carolina, Vandy, Florida, and Missouri are all going to suck. Georgia Tech hasn't been good in 15 years. Bro, they got 2 games, in my opinion, in Tennessee and UK that's competition. And I don't think Tennessee is going to be as good as they were this year. And I definitely don't. And Kentucky hasn't shown that they can ever beat Georgia.
Well, I do. Listen, I like the Milton kid. That was the backup that took over for
Yeah, he's all right. I don't think Tennessee is Georgia level next year.
Oh no, absolutely not. I definitely agree with you on that. I don't really like I'm a little iffy on the offense that they run. I hate it. It's so spread out. I don't understand it, but that's teachers though. Yeah, I mean, why aren't they scheduling the USCs, the Ohio States for out of conferences?
They historically have, so I don't know. I like maybe just it was one of these years where they couldn't find anyone to play. Yeah. But man, I don't. And I see all the people saying Ole Miss will compete. Ole Miss chokes every big game every year. Lane Kiffin has yet to win a big game in like 50 years of coach. He's not winning that game.
I wish I had the wah, wah, wah. I wish I had the sound effect right now. That would have been so perfect. Oh man. So I can see you're not a Lane Kiffin fan. But yeah, man, that's crazy. All right. Let's get it. Let's get to some FCS news. All right, let's start with the Porter Report. Man, listen, big loss for Texas Southern. Zay Hamilton commits to U of H. Shout out to him, man. Go be great, my guy. You about to see me with some U of H merch because I'm about to start rocking my man. How detrimental do you think this is to Texas Southern?
Huge. Absolutely huge in terms of like a loss for their defense. He was going to be a first-team All-SWAC, potentially a preseason FCS All-American, but a huge pickup for Houston. Huge pickup for Houston. They have developed great defensive backs. Multiple guys have went to the draft from Houston in terms of defensive backs. He stays at home, gets to play at the P5 level in the Big 12 where they throw the football a lot. Zay Hamilton is going to have an outstanding career at Houston. I think this is a perfect example of what you have to do to elevate your career.
Absolutely. I love it. I love it for him. Gets, like you said, stay in state. Listen, I think what would have been what I would have seen was the develop of Tank Dale, right? How they took Tank from Alabama A&M, which has become the plug for wide receivers at the FBS level. Let's just call it what it is. And they groomed him. Now he's an NFL draft prospect. I think he is the standard, and you can show that to other FCS players that, hey, listen, if you're good enough, we'll play you, give you the spotlight that you need, and you can go off and do what you need to do in bigger, better things. Listen, Zay is a walking pro. 6'1", 6'2". He has the confidence and the swagger of a DB that you want, and he's physical and tough enough to make tackles in the run game. I can't wait to follow him, and I wish him nothing but the best. But that is the Porter Report for FCS, and I wanted to bring that up. Now, let's talk about this new transfer rule, Blue. I know you've been getting a lot of tweets and stuff at it. Shout out to my man, Brandon Marcello. But literally what Brandon just says is like, it's going to be tougher for kids to get into the portal. And it reads, this is some of the stipulations that players who look to transfer after already have done so one or more times must either prove a demonstrative physical injury, illness or mental health, condition that has necessitated his or her transfer, or that extenuating circumstances such as physical or sexual abuse necessitate a transfer. I hope I'm saying that right. All right. No thesis over here. All right. How do you feel about the rule, Blue? And do you think it was necessary?
Yeah, absolutely necessary. And it's a step in the right direction for the transfer portal. Listen, man, regardless of how people feel, things are supposed to be monitored and controlled in some sort of fashion. You just can't open up the transfer portal and say, man, we're just letting kids do whatever they want. At the end of the day, because this is what gets on my nerves, is that when you're arguing for players being paid, then everyone's like, well, no, they're just students, they're just this. But then they're like, why would you prevent their transfers? And no. It's like, bro, they still got to get degrees.
Yeah.
You got kids who are transferring to their 8th school. 8 schools. Bro, come on. At this point, like, you should just say football's not my thing. 8 schools? 8th year transfer. That's a word that has been used on Twitter today. An 8th year transfer. He has went to school for 8 years. Come on, man. That's outrageous. He's older than Patrick Mahomes, still chilling.
Yeah, boy, you stupid.
Come on, man.
Listen,
it's this 8th year transfer.
I'm sorry.
That is just come on, man. So for me, look, you get one free transfer. Everyone agrees with that. You should be able to change your situation. But what this does now is it puts pressure on kids to make the right decision finally.
Yeah.
Don't just transfer to a school because you're not going to get just another free chance. Make sure you do the right decision and go. And then for people saying coaches can move all the time, listen, there's still a rule. If you remember earlier this year, they said if a coach leaves, it allows the kids to also transfer again. There's already a stipulation for when the coaches leave the program, which will allow the kids another chance to transfer. This is for people who are just transferring year in and year out. So make the right decision the first time, do your research, and you get one free transfer. Make the right decision. This is preventing people that just like the JT Daniels, who have played at USC, West Virginia, Georgia, and is about to play at another school this year.
Yeah.
It's for those type of guys who cannot find a home for some whatever reason. This won't affect 85, 90% of the kids in the transfer portal. It's preventing kids from, I would say, impacting their degree process in terms of not getting their degree and just consistently wasting credits and wasting people's time.
Listen, man, I'm gonna be the independent in this. I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's good. I just think that, I'm always of the free mind of let the people decide. Let the kids, if this is what they decide to do with their lives, right? And I look at it like this. If you're 21 and you decide to join the military, that's your choice. Nobody tells you not to or whatever. If you want to be 24, 25, still jumping around schools or what, that is your choice. I don't see anything wrong with that in regards of kids' decisions. Now, I will say this. I would do a 2-year minimum. You get 2 free transfers. You can transfer as much as you want, but you got to keep sitting. You know what I'm saying? You got to sit out and think. So I would do 2 free and then sit out, and then you can transfer again or whatever. I don't have no issues with that. But if they keep it at the Wild Wild West, hey man, Wild Wild West. It is Wild Wild West out here. Get it where you fit in. You know what I'm saying? Because who am I to tell you what works or what doesn't work for you? Who am I? I don't know your situation. You could go to 2 back-to-back coaches that are bad. You could go into a situation where, they lied to you and you felt it's so many things that could go wrong, right? Because everybody wants to talk about, oh, the coach yelled at me and I'm transferring. Well, that's your choice. People yell at you at work, you can quit. You know what I'm saying? That is the capitalistic mentality of America. And I don't think that kids, young men and women should have to be pigeonholed because they want to do what's best for them and whatever that might be. You know what I'm saying? So I don't mind Wild Wild West.
You said more content, more craziness.
The more crazy, the better for me. You know what I'm saying? Because listen, man, at the end of the day, these young men and women, you got to live with your decisions. That's to me, that's all this teaches you. This is a life lesson of living with your choices and decisions. You want to transfer 5 or 6 times? That is your life. That is your decision. The school wants to keep giving you a scholarship. That is their choice. That is their decision. Just like they can cut you, they can give you one. So I don't look at it as like there needs to be stipulations. I just look like the only stipulation I would say is 2 free transfers and maybe sit out for a year or whatever. Like how I would do like this: 2 free transfers. If you do your third, you got to sit out a year, and then you can just transfer again. You get an immediate. You get 2 more. It like resets. You sit out a year, it resets. You get 2 more. You sit out a year, it resets. You get 2 more. Like that's how
eligibility by then.
Exactly. So you done. You know what I'm saying? by that next sit out, you 2 years, and that's all you got. You know what I'm saying? So that's just me. That's just my personal. You know what I'm saying? I'm for people's choices. You know, I'm pro-choice. All right. I'm pro-choice out here in these streets. But you know, it is what it is, man. I mean, at the end of the day, the NCAA, you're not a fan of them. I'm not a fan of them. And to me, it's just another way to kind of, limit the pigeonhole. Like, it just is what it is, man. But what if you have I look at it like this. Let's say you go, let's say you get to FAMU, right? Don't go well, you transfer. You go to, let's say you go to Sanford. You ball out. USC come knocking. You got NIL money, but you've already done a transfer. Now I got to sit out a year to get this. See, that's the stuff I don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're hindering my ability to capitalize on the market because you limit myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, everybody wants to talk about the bad stuff of kids 5 and 6 and 7 transfers. What about the kids who transfer one time? They ball out, they get an opportunity to go FBS, and they can't go no more because you done lock the portal now. It's stuff like that I have. Both are outliers, but both could be true. So
that's fair.
Yeah,
I think the argument for this would be like, maybe you should have balled out before you transferred, but like if you transfer in from Bama to FAMU and then you got an offer at USC, why weren't you doing that at Bama?
Come on, man. It's Bama, bro.
Okay, well, take Bama out. If you did it at Tennessee to FAM, and then you ball out at FAM, and then you got an offer for USC, why didn't you go ahead and do that?
I had to ball out. Good. They didn't know I had the ability. They didn't give me an opportunity. You know what I'm saying? I get the opportunity, I'll ball out. Now I'm over here looking like Zay about to go to U of H or USC or Notre Dame. You know what I'm saying? So it's those things for me. But I agree. What you're saying is not like you should have done that. Should have done it at Alabama. You know what I'm saying? At Alabama, you gotta wait 3 years for an opportunity. You know what I'm saying? You sitting behind 5-star or the 5-star or the 5-star. So it's different years. All right, man. Listen. Got a new award. We about to get into the SWAC early rankings and all that, but I got an award. I'm gonna pitch to my man Blue. I came up with it right before we got on the show. Your 2022-2023. Now, listen, this for you, it can be all FCS, however you feel. For me, I'm going to HBCU realm of because I feel comfortable. All right. So my 2022-2023 recruiter of the year has to be Coach Dev. Has to be Coach Dev in my recruiter of the year of what he's done in the attributes of how he's kept this program alive, getting top level talent coming to FAMU with all the stuff going and what they've been bringing back and what they've been doing currently. Got to give it. And listen, I'm gonna say this: I would have did Dion, but he gone. You know what I'm saying? He in Colorado. That would have been number 1 for everybody. You know what I'm saying? But for this one, I gotta go Coach D from FAMU as my recruiter of the year. Who you got, Blue, for your recruiter of the year?
Since you put me on the spot, I just had to go by the recruiting rankings. I'll do an HBCU one, man. That's the point of this roundtable. I'll go with Coach O. I got to give him his flowers. Okay. I mean, because listen, Scotty, me and you both know, and everyone in the chat knows how bad this really could have been. If they don't get corrected on the recruiting trail, Jackson could have been really, really bad. I'm talking about not top 10 HBCU bad if things didn't get corrected really, really fast. And so for the fact that they brought in a bunch of good quarterbacks, they kept Savion, they kept Niles, because to me, that counts as recruiting because those guys were getting ready to walk out the door. And you kept a bunch of, you kept 3 starting offensive linemen. You kept a lot of your wide receiving core. I got to give him a credit. Now, my second place would have been, Coach Dev too. So I give him a close 1A, 1B, but I wanted to go a little bit different, give someone some shout out. So I got to give Coach O a lot of credit because it could have been, the world could have burnt down after Deion walked out the back door.
I agree. I say this because I talked to somebody in compliance and we can double check this, right? Because they said some of those kids were not able to transfer. That's what somebody told me from compliance, that even with the coach leaving rule, that some of those kids were not able to transfer. So I'm going to give it maybe like a 50-50 thing on some of them couldn't transfer because they had to sit out and some of them could, but they did decide to stay. Right.
Yeah.
I look at it like this. You had so many holes, right? And listen, Deion had put Jackson State, in my opinion, in such a high limelight that kids were going to see that program and be like, oh, it's Jackson. It's cool down there because Deion made it cool. So I just think for me, I got to go Coach D for the name that he doesn't have, and also for what he's done, for what he can do at FAMU. So for me personally, I got to go Coach D on that aspect. So we'll see what that looks like. But listen, man, I think some of the kids I know a few kids probably could have definitely gone to another SWAC school, but I think a lot of those kids weren't going to get the offers they thought they were. Now, I think Wilkerson had every opportunity. He probably could have dipped. I think Malachi Wyman definitely could have dipped and things like that. But a few of these kids, I don't know.
I got it on good authority. I've talked to a few people. I got it some of those kids had legit offers. I will say that.
Okay. Legit offers can mean legit offers in the SWAC. That don't mean it's
No. P5 offers.
Oh, okay. I know Niles had some P5. I know Niles definitely had some P5 offers. You know what I'm saying? I know, I don't know anybody else really. Maybe Wilkerson. I bet Wilkerson has some P5 offers. I mean, he's a dog. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't put that past him. You know what I'm saying? But I do think the new pieces, the Guthries, the Jason Browns, like those type, I'll give credit where credit is due. But once again, you had so many holes to fill that it's going to look different, right? When you're a team like FAMU, where you didn't lose a lot and you're just plugging and playing a few pieces, it don't look the same. When 18 people walk out the door, you know what I'm saying? You get 10 former 3-stars or 4-stars. It's like, oh my God, but Bama, you needed every bit of them. You needed every last one of them. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a different thing to me. Like it is what it is. But we'll see what it all culminates on the field at the end of the day, of course. But in my personal opinion, I gotta go Coach D, FAMU, as recruiter of the year. And I think his symbol with the FAMU Batman symbol,
yeah, that's fire.
Absolute genius. That is absolute genius. So off that alone, okay, So listen, man, how many times, guys, and listen, man, I'm not hating on any kid, but I just want y'all to be understanding. I want y'all to keep that same energy when that player doesn't make the plays that you think they're going to make, because everybody, he got him and he got him and he got him. You don't understand. There are other people on the opposite side of the field playing football as well that feel they can compete to whomever level you get. Now, there's only a few certain people in the SWAC that I'm just like, they different, right? Like, Malachi was one of those dudes. Wilkerson every now and again was one of those dudes. Shador is that guy. Houston, that guy. You know what I'm saying? Like Hunter, that guy. You know what I'm saying? Wide receiver wise. But A lot of other guys in the SWAC, they just don't bring. I mean, like I'm not saying 7 can't be that for Jackson, but they're just players. They're just athletes. You know what I'm saying? Like they're okay. You can catch. Okay, he can catch. You know what I'm saying? Like think about Kevin Coleman. Like his biggest game came in the Celebration Bowl, but he was a 4-star guy. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of talent in the SWAC. You know what I'm saying? And some of the best talent you probably didn't. Like Zay, you didn't know nothing about Zay. He wasn't this big old highly touted recruit, but he's a dog. Bubba, same thing, dog. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying you can't find the Aubrey Millers and the James Houstons, but they don't always hit like that. That's all I'm saying. So y'all must be stuck on these. Oh my God, we got 7, and then he could probably have 7 catches for the season.
Well, I did say I think it was on the Afterglow with Kofi. I commented because you guys were talking about SWAC or FCS recruiting rankings, things like that. SWAC recruiting rankings. There's a reason in the top 10, 0 Celebration Bowls, 0 FCS national titles.
No, I bet people hate you sometimes. I'm not even like, bro, like it's like when you be at the dinner table and be like, you just say something like, that's a fact, but everybody be like, really, bro? Really, bro? Like, this is the time you're going to bring that up? I know some people just hate you sometimes.
I think it's the approach, like just how calm it comes out. Because
oh man, I know you'd be like, oh man, oh my goodness. All right, let's get into some of these rankings that we've been starting off with the MEAC rankings. All right, pretty similar. Can't knock it. You got Morgan at 2. I got Howard at 2, and you know it hurts me to put Howard over Morgan, but I had to. They were co-champs. They did beat Morgan. You know what I'm saying?
I thought these were rankings for like next season.
Well, I'm using a little bit of both.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm just using like little tidbits of everything, trying to put it together. Listen, my reasoning was that a lot of those kids are coming back. I'm not a big fan of the quarterback, but at least they have a quarterback. You know, Morgan is a little bit up in the air at that position. Like, who's really going to be the guy? So, and a lot of, you know, Gallup coming back, you know what I'm saying? Like, they have a lot of pieces that are coming back. So I felt that I would give them that nod of being over top of Morgan in that sense. What you got, Blue?
Yeah, the reason I put Morgan there is they did recruit a quarterback. I think he's got some potential in my opinion, but what I give Morgan the edge on is defense. Their defense is going to be so good. They return Elijah Williams, who I had as an FCS All-American selection. Like the kid is that good at defensive line. Their secondary, in my opinion, is going to be one of the top in HBCU football total. I just think they're going to be so good that they're going to be able to lock down Howard's offense, especially with the inconsistencies that we've seen at Howard's quarterback position. They're going to be that good to take that away. And on top of that, too, Howard's losing some of their best offensive linemen. Morgan, in my opinion, in that one-on-one matchup, because that's what it came down to, is going to be able to exploit that. I think Morgan beats Howard next year. I think the only team, in my opinion, it's 1 Central, and it's not even close. 2 and 3 are pretty close, and then it's going to be a battle for who's the worst team in the MEAC, in my opinion.
Oh man, I'll say this. I do not think that North Central is that head and shoulders above the rest. I think they're good. I think the MEAC is good at beating up with each other. So that's why I won't put anybody head and shoulders above anybody else, because I don't think at any point in time, what we saw last year is at any point in time, anybody can get beat in the MEAC. So I can't just say it's NCCU and everybody else. I do think they're the best team, but I do think that you can catch them slipping at any point in time, and they have an opportunity to lose a game to a South Carolina State, to a Norfolk State, to Delaware State. It's possible. That's what I'll say there. So, but for me, I think having some continuity on offense, bringing back a lot of those running backs. Is Dankwa coming back?
No, he was a senior.
Okay, so losing that's a huge that's a huge piece that you got to feel on that offensive line, because that left side was crazy. But you know, trying to replace Dankwa and things like that. But it was a close 2A. 2A, 2B type of situation where I could have flipped those either way, but those are the Elite 8 rankings or Elite 6, as they say. All right. All right, coming up, SWAC East and West rankings. I'm gonna go first for the East. I got FAM, Jackson State, Bethune, A&M, and Valley. Blue, let them know.
Yeah, I think our East was pretty much similar. We just flipped A&M and Bethune. I just think as much as I love that Ed Reed hire, I think it's going to take more than a year. That's not an easy flip. There's so much he's going to have to bring in, and the fact he's getting such a late start is going to be tough. And there are some key players A&M is returning. I think they're going to be just good enough to slide into that 4th place. It'll probably come down to the head-to-head matchup, but I'm leaning A&M just a little bit because Bethune also doesn't have a quarterback. They lose their best weapon in Kamari Everett. They're losing a lot more on the defensive side of the football too, especially in that front 7. So for me, I can't give Bethune any higher than 5th right now until I see their roster going into summer, fall after the spring season.
Listen, I agree, but the thing about it to me is that A&M and State to me aren't head and shoulders. Like, they're not hard to catch because of the simple fact of if Bethune finds a quarterback, the defense was not the problem at Bethune. It wasn't the biggest issue. The biggest issue was offensively. What are we? You know, you got Bird coming back as the running back. You need some. You got Corey Reed as receiver, who's decent. He's not bad. He's good. The quarterback situation, the offensive line situation, and I think defensively, Ed Reed is going to get them right. So I'm not too worried about that. Offensively, what can they do? A&M was in shambles offensively last year, and I don't know what that quarter, because they're in the same situation at quarterback, not knowing who that's going to be. Alabama State, what that quarterback situation looks like, and a guy averaging 17 points per game as your offensive freaking coordinator who came from Morehouse. All right. So those attributes. The reason I have Jack State, and Zoe said he thinks they're a little too high. The reason I'm having that number 2 is because they're just talented. They're just a talented squad. Now,
Zoe lying. Stop it.
Zoe, like, let me take the rose. Let me take my blue color glasses off. But, they're just a talented team. You have too much talent to just be bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that was before Jason Brown. Now, when Jason Brown there, I would have put you at 2. Jason Brown not there, I'll probably put you at 3 or 4. I ain't gonna lie to you. Quarterback is a huge attribute in that instance. But, and then FAMU, man, I mean, Jesus Christ. Like, literally half the team is coming back with your starting quarterback. So you definitely got to, and then all the players they've added on top of that. So yeah, we'll see. I think I'm curious to see who finishes last in the East. That is I'm
not.
I don't think it's going to be Valley. I really don't think. I don't think Valley will finish last. I don't think they'll have a winning record, but I don't think they'll finish last. I'll say that. And I think it's a race between them and Alabama A&M. That's just my point.
But and for me, what it came down to, I almost had Jackson 1. The only thing I'll say is the reason I didn't is until TC names a starting quarterback, I can't put them above FAMU, who's bringing back who I know is going to lead that team in Musa. Because we got so hype over Halloween and all these Grambling quarterbacks, and nobody panned out.
Maybe Carrots.
I need to see these Jackson State quarterbacks in action on the field, in this scheme, in this offense, before I make a distinction on how good I think that quarterback position can be, because people get so hyped over recruits and who's done this and who's done that. And we saw what happened. Grambling's best quarterback last year as a recruit's playing wide receiver now. So I need to see them on the field, and I need to see some film on them at Jackson State before I make that distinction. But if Brown turns out to be as good as I think he can be, I wouldn't be surprised if going into August, Jackson's at number 1.
You know what? I think if Jackson didn't have all the talent at receiver, I wouldn't be surprised if Short went to receiver. That's just my personal opinion, but it is what it is. SWAC West. Oh, how things have changed. I need you to explain to me how Alcorn is number 1. I just need that because that don't make no type of sense to me. But go ahead.
So for me, Listen, if Alcorn had their starting quarterback in the Soul Bowl, they beat Jackson there in the SWAC championship last year. They are.
PV would
And-
be. PV would have won. PV would have went back.
No, they wouldn't have. If Alcorn wins, they go. PV lost to Valley.
Yeah, but if Southern,
No, they all four had a chance. As long as PV lost, it just went down the line.
I thought
Because
it went back to
if-
PV.
No, that the only way it went back to PV is if everybody lost, including Southern.
Oh, okay. But go ahead. I'll let
Yeah. So Alcorn, in my opinion, they got the best running back in the SWAC coming back. And Jarvion, not debatable.
not debatable.
They return a lot of their wide receiving core. They return almost their whole offensive line. They bring back not only Allen, but they've really upgraded at the quarterback spot with the kid from Missouri. They bring back most of their defensive line, including Malachi Bailey, who was an absolute animal. And on top of that, return Terrence Ellis, who I think was their best. No disrespect to Claude, I think that was their best overall linebacker in Terrence Ellis. And they bring back a lot of the DBs outside of Kerryon Kinsler at the safety spot. They bring back the most. They fix their special teams, it looks like. They literally were a punter away from beating Stephen F. Austin to open the season. They were a quarterback health away from beating Jackson. And on top of that, man, I know the Texas Southern loss. People don't want to admit it. They are like they're that pick six and the red zone turnovers away from beating them. And that they were just consistently making mistakes at the wrong time. I trust Fred McNair. They've returned a lot of talent. I think Alcorn gets it done this year. And I got too many questions about every other team.
What question do you have about Texas Southern?
Defense. They've lost all their good defensive players. Like Zay was the game changer.
Oh, you lose Zay and you lose Tariq.
And then over the past 2 years, you lost a lot of your front seven. They did not have an edge rusher last year whatsoever.
And still beat every other team on there but PV.
I don't see it. I don't.
I mean,
And on top of that, you lost your best offensive lineman
okay.
in Drake Centers.
Drake Centers. Okay.
I just got too many questions. I think Body's great. I don't know if the help's going to be there around him.
Listen, I feel like what Body did with the lack of wide receiver help that was startling because he's literally beat all. I was there, beat Alcorn, beat Southern, beat Grambling, beat UAPB, and I mean, okay, but for me, Texas Southern, I think they have the best nucleus, right? Everybody on that team has been starting since they were freshmen. Other than the seniors that have come and gone, most of this team is full of juniors. Like Body, junior. Zay would have been a junior. You know, most of the offensive linemen are either sophomore, the freshmen that were sophomores, the sophomores that are now juniors. You bring back your whole running back core, add on top of that, and you add the kid from Furman, just in case if, for the quarterback competition battle. For me, the thing for me with Texas Southern is play calling and why. There you go. Paris said it, coaching. That is the key for me, is what you're going to get from this coaching staff, and do they put the pieces around Andrew at receiver to get it going? So that is why I put them at number one. Number two, Southern. Listen, outside of the quarterback position, this team is good. Now you lose Corian Harris, you lose Dumas, and
You lose Jordan.
you talking about the biggest non-factor FCS Defensive Player of the Year ever? Dude, he was so not. Dude, oh my God, you talking about it not impactful at all? Jesus, this year, I want to say this year. A couple years ago, awesome player. This year, not factor. But so you didn't really lose much right there. But you know what I'm saying? The offensive continuity that this team has outside of the quarterback position is freaking huge. They bring back every running back last year. Fields, Kobe, Sims, Ligon, both of the freshmen that come back. You got Petrie coming back. You got Cornelius coming back at wide receiver. You still need a quarterback. You got Noah on the squad. We know what he can do. We'll see what that looks like in the system of Dooley. But replacing Corian Harris has to be at your top priority. He was absolutely amazing. And you need another DN that's bigger than Trey Lane. Trey Lane is too light. Okay. I'm sorry. great moves. He's just too light. He can't hold the edge. You need another Cam Peterson in the middle to match up with his presence at the D tackle spot. And I think you'll be okay. I like the Clark dude, and I like some of the DBs that they have. So I like where Southern is. Okay, I like where Southern is and where they can go. But once again, it comes back to Dooley and what that coaching. A lot of 1 and 2 is really coaching. I mean, if Jesus Christ, if you can get some offensive coaching on this in Southern, in Texas Southern, these teams might be just go loco. What you got for your number 2? You got PV Blue.
Yeah, that they've returned their entire offensive line. You add Caleb Johnson to a team that could already run the ball against almost everybody.
Yeah.
You add some weapons at the wide receiver spot. A lot of their defense comes back, man. The defense, listen, the front seven is what it is, man. And under Bubba McDowell, I think they're going to continue to be that good. I think PV has enough to get past Texas Southern and Southern next year. The reason I have Southern so low is until they have a proven quarterback, all the other stuff doesn't matter. You're right. They're loaded everywhere else. But at the end of the day, are they going to have a quarterback good enough to beat teams like PV and Alcorn? And I don't think so. Not until you have a quarterback that can make plays and win the game.
That's fair. PV for me just made a strength of strength. I mean, they just like, hey, we are run first team. We're going to keep running the ball first. I want to see the growth of Conley. I want to see what that looks like. I want to see what the growth of Conley looks like. And they lose Howard, one of their top receivers from PV. They got to replace him. He was special. He went to Southern. So we'll see what that looks like. And the reason I put Alcorn at 4th is because I'm on the Demetrius Davis kind of scarred me about quarterbacks. He kind of traumatized me because I had such high expectations for him to be a little bit more impactful just overall, he was impactful with his feet, but just overall as a quarterback. So with the Tyler Macon situation, even though I think it's a perfect fit for Alcorn, absolutely perfect fit, I just don't know what it would translate to in the SWAC because once again, and I've heard it from former players in the SWAC that have dropped down, they said, people think shit's sweet when you come into the SWAC, but we play just like everybody else. We hit just like everybody else. We give the business just like everybody else. So I don't know what Tyler Macon is and his makeup to say he like, I came from Missouri. This should be easy. And he kind of get that big head of coming to the SWAC and he get a rude awakening really quickly. But I think he is benefited by a great run game behind Jarvion. I mean, listen, that's the quarterback's best friend. And if you're only asked to make a few throws and the rest of the time you hand it off to Jarvion, it's a good life to live. And 5 and 6, that's a great life to live. And 5 and 6 is simply, listen, I don't give a damn what Hugh Jackson is doing with all the pictures. Bama, you need to win. All right. Listen, I don't give a damn if you bring out a Lamborghini. I need to see some dubs. Matter of fact, bring out a Winnebago. Something with a W. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Just win. I'm not sorry. Who am I apologizing to? Absolutely. Apologize to Grambling fans because you be losing. So he just simply needs to win. And at this point right now, he's not better than any of these teams. At this point, and I don't. You can quote me on that. He's not better than any of these teams. He barely better than UAPB. So shoot, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, we got 5 and 6 pretty much together. So
yeah, I'm with you on that. I don't think I had to add anything to that.
All right. Last but not least, all right. Call lines are open if you're able to call in. I know a lot of you Bama's at work, so we apologize. We usually do this later. But me and Blue both got some stuff going on later today, so we wanted to knock this out for y'all.
You are the only participant in the conference. All participants are muted.
518-263-8124, 518-263-8124. That is the call-in if you want to ask any questions or talk about what we spoke on today. And last but not least, top 10 way too early, HBCU. Oh, man. Who you want to go first, Blue? You want to go first or you want me?
I mean, I feel like this is just pretty self-explanatory. I mean, like for me, I got the team I think is going to win the Celebration Bowl again in Central. I got the SWAC East champs, the SWAC West champs, and then the rest of the rankings just kind of resemble my conference rankings to a point. Jackson's number 2, in the one division. PV's number 2 in the other. Morgan's my other number 2. Then you got my number 3, 4. You got A&T thrown in there. Then you got Howard at number 3 in the MEAC. I just went through and then was like, who would I take in a head-to-head?
That's fair. That's fair. I like it. I think Morgan was a little too high for me. When I saw that, but it's I guess it's the way I structured my list that kind of comes up to how your Morgan is 6 and my Morgan is 9. But it makes sense because you had Morgan in front of Howard. I had Howard in front of Morgan, so it fits up to me. Listen, I think, and you're right. I pretty much put the SWAC West. I think the SWAC East is pretty much top heavy, and then everything else is how you fit in. But for me, with Andrew, I just think Andrew's that special, and I don't think the quarterback situation in the SWAC is at the highest level. I think when you lose Shador, that takes a huge drop off into who's next. Now, I think Jason Brown could be that guy. Musa is still, he's still good. Don't get me wrong, Musa's still good, but there is a drop off after Shador, after he's gone. So I think it's viable to anything. But I think FAMU, I would love to see a FAMU and NCCU regular season matchup. I definitely would like to see that, and I think FAMU would win that. That's just my personal opinion. That's why I have them over top of NCCU right now, of just my situation. But I got Jackson at 6, man. Listen, the teams I put in front of them just have more continuity. I don't know if you can run it back with a whole new squad, a whole new offensive coordinator and things like that. I think there's going to be some growing pains because once again, everybody around you had been trying to out-recruit Dion. So let's not act like they don't have talent and they aren't up for the challenge of going against you. So I'm not saying that they won't be good, but I just think that those games that you were winning by 7 points and 10 points, that margin to me shrinks because of the non-Shadors and the non-Deons and the non-attributes of what Dennis Thurman was and was for that team. So I just think that margin of victory and that margin to lose, it just squeezes us a little bit. So those games get a little bit tighter. So that's why I have them at 6. And A&T, even with new coach and coming in late and things like that, I still think they have a talented roster. I know losing Tootin is tough, but I still think they have a talented roster, and we'll see what they do. But that is my HBCU way too early top 10. Way too early top 10. All right, so but spring season should be fun. It should be fun. Spring season shall be fun. Jackson, I don't know if your game is going to be televised anymore, but if hey, each his own. Anonymous, coming to you. Hey, call you live.
Hello.
You're live.
Hey, Scotty.
What's up?
Hey, Blue.
What's up?
Okay, so I just want to say thank you, Scotty, for leaving up the video yesterday. Good news for a long journey.
Oh, thank
Although
you.
you were shouting that you were going to delete it, and if you're not a member, you won't have access to it, because it was a good message, and you can always go back and listen to it. So that's all I want to say.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that.
All right.
No problem. I was going to take it down, but I saw somebody in the chat was like, why would you take away the good news? And I was like, I guess I'll leave it up. You know what I'm saying? I should have made it. I was like, should have made a members live anyway. But teach his own. We out here blessing others. Let me. How do you think this? Oh, my bad, Blue. How do you think this season plays out? Just like from what you're seeing, from what do you see a runaway from any team, or do you see a MEAC situation where any game can go any type of way?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's any type of way. I really do. I don't. I know historically it hasn't happened. I get that. I think Central runs away with the MEAC again.
Mm-hmm.
I do. I don't even think it's close. I think Morgan's a year away. I think Howard had too many losses, and I don't think South Carolina State's going to do enough to close that gap fast enough.
Okay.
And also, that game's not going to be in Orangeburg this year, which changes a lot because it's hard to go win in that stadium and in that environment. So I think the MEAC's not going to be very close, but the SWAC, we know what the West is going to be. The West is going to be pure chaos every single week. I mean, the predictions on who's going to win the West are going to be insane up until the start of the season. The East, though, I think you have a clear top 2 for the most part, possibly a 3 if Alabama State's quarterback situation can work itself out, but I think it's a clear top two. Whoever wins that week 1 game, FAMU Jackson State, it's going to be like the last 2 years where they're going to have pretty much a fast track to the SWAC championship, in my opinion, probably get a chance to host it. But then the West and everything below FAMU and Jackson, I think it's going to be chaos where any given week, anything could happen.
Okay. That makes sense. I'm excited to see what it all looks like just put together in a combination of a new year and what teams look like quarterback wise, because we all understand as your team goes, as far as your quarterback goes in HBCU and most of college football anyway. So I'm excited to see what these play callers look like, the signal callers look like for UAPB, because they got some guys still on staff. For Bethune, for Alabama State, does Demetrius Davis take the next step? For Jackson, for Musa, does Musa take the next step? Does Andrew take the next step? Does the Jace kid come in and steal it from him? I just think, what does Noah look like? I think all that should be the article for the SWAC, the era of the year of the QBs, of what they all will look like this year coming into it. Because now you take the top guy out, Shador. Now who's the top guy coming into this year? You can say it's Musa starting. You can give it to Musa starting. But if I was a real analyst, hashtag not media, I would say I couldn't really know, because Musa was so hyper focused on Xavier. I don't know what that looks like going forward outside of the realm of Xavier. But let's go. David, coming to you. What's up, David?
What up, man? How you doing, Scotty? What's going on, Blue?
I'm good,
man.
7 and 9 guys. I got my guys low, man. In Lincoln.
No, you barely got a quarterback, bro. Let's not play this game. You barely got a quarterback.
I know.
And no running back.
7 and 4 quarterback last year.
and the guy who led you to 7 and 4 is now gone. And you're going to the CAA. So come on, man.
I mean, I will say it'll get interesting. We're gonna see, man, because we only kept 2 members from the original coaching staff, from Sam's coaching staff. So that was reported yesterday. We kept the offensive line coach and we kept the receivers coach, Nate Poole and Mattis. Those only 2 folks we kept from the coaching staff. So we'll see, man. So we're gonna have a new OC, new DC. So we're gonna see what's gonna happen with regards to that. So we're gonna be a different team, obviously.
Completely.
So
you know what I'm excited to see? I'm excited to see what recruiting, what Vincent Brown brings from the William and Mary program, of how they recruited over to how they compete within Atlanta. Atlanta A&T. Lord have mercy. North Carolina A&T.
You got a good drum line, but look, man.
No, North Carolina A&T. And let me ask you this, Dave. How long do you stay in the CAA until y'all come back to the MEAC? Just a question. Just a toss up.
It's gotta be pretty bad, bro.
Okay.
But the way things are going in some of the other sports so far, it's got to be pretty bad. And they're working right now to do like $100 million capital investment plan.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think they're planning on trying to head back to the MEAC. It's got to get bad.
Okay.
And with the women's basketball team being undefeated in the conference, they got a game tonight. The track team starts up their season tomorrow in New York. So there's going to be I think like in some sports, we're going to be able to compete off gate. It's going to be interesting to see what Vincent Brown does in football. But I think in some sports, we're going to be able to do some damage off gate. And we've already seen it with women's basketball right now. So.
All right.
But I don't think that's the plan. I think Hampton will probably go back before we do, because they just got a new president, in my opinion.
Really?
So,
Okay.
That's interesting.
This is my opinion.
I mean, you kind of do speak for all Aggies. I'm just saying.
Look, man. Look, I think it boils down, like, the thing is, the Chancellor right now, bro, he ain't interested in being a doormat of that conference. He's gonna do whatever it takes to try to get us to win.
Okay.
He's gonna try to set up shop to make them to win. Like, it ain't gonna be like Hampton or Tennessee State. They're gonna try to win in that conference. But they're gonna like Vincent Brown wouldn't have went there without the assurances that they're going to try to set him up to be successful there. So,
all right.
So I think this first year is going to be interesting. I'm thinking 5 to 6 wins. But I think we're going to be able to do some damage in that conference, man. I do. I really do.
Hey, man,
it'll be interesting.
There's going to be a lot of moral victories, but y'all keep your head up. Y'all keep your head up, man.
Nah, ain't going to be that many moral victories, man. Don't do that. Don't do that. I know everybody's panicking, but we're still a pretty talented team. So
you better beat Norfolk. That's all I got to say.
It ain't burning as much as y'all think it is.
Okay.
Dave, you better beat Norfolk State. I'm just saying that. If you lose that game.
If we lose to Norfolk State, then I'm panicking. Then I'm panic, and rightfully so. You know what I'm saying? That'll be legitimate.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'll be pissed if we lose to Central too, but that ain't just the national champion. If we lose to Norfolk, then I'll be panicking. There'll be legitimate panic. Even though it's in Norfolk, I will still be panicking. I don't want to lose the band battle or the football game. I don't lose either.
All right. We'll keep. I'm gonna keep tabs. Just I don't know nothing about no CAA, but I'm definitely gonna watch just to see what y'all look like. That's gonna be fun. Oh, that's on Flow.
All right, man. Y'all have a good one.
That's
good
on
show,
Flow,
guys.
Yeah, that's on Flow Sport. That's on Flow Sport. I hate that Flow Sports stuff, bro. I ain't even gonna hold you. I hate that crap. Yeah,
you don't have to tell me, bro. I'm still ready for that TV deal to end.
Oh, Flow Sports. Oh my God,
it's garbage.
It's horrible. 9868 coming to you. Hey, calling you live.
Yo, what up? What up, fellas?
What's up, Cal?
Hey, I can't knock some of y'all rankings. I mean, Jax, they got too many uncertainties. Quarterback, coordinator, new scheme, outside of players, but it's still a lot of the cupboard ain't bare. You know what I mean? So I understand where y'all put them to. Question though, who is on the hot seat right now going into 2023?
McKinley.
HBCU wise, I know it's got to be Odom. I couldn't even get the words out. Damn, Scotty.
Dog, McKinley, bro. I've been trying to get that man fired for the past 2 years. McKinley.
Damn. Well, we know you don't like him.
Mm-mm.
Anybody else?
Who you got, Blue?
It's going to sound controversial. I'm on the bandwagon. It took some convincing. If he has another 3-win year, Buddy Pugh.
Ooh. I don't think it's okay. Like I don't think it's a hot seat. I think it's just like it's time for you to step away. You know what I'm saying? Like hot seat to me is like Odom's at Norfolk State. Like Bama, we got a 6-year contract. Let's just call this over. Like I'm saying? Like let's move on amicably. But I think Coach Buddy Pugh has done so much for the program. It's like, hey man, you want to be like an ambassador now? Like maybe.
Oh no, like to me that still counts as hot seat. Like getting forced out the back door is still there. Like, I mean, South Carolina State fans were trying to get him fired last season. If he goes out there and wins 3 games again, he's gone.
That's fair.
Eddie George too.
What are some games y'all looking to go into it next year or this year?
Listen, man, I can't keep up with Blue's schedule, so I'm gonna give you mine. Because Blue be out here. Oh, I can't wait to go to Womack in Wyoming. It's a top 5 matchup in the middle of nowhere. I want to go to Morgan. I think I want to go to Morgan NCCU. Listen, I'm not going to no Jackson games. That's a wrap. I'm just telling y'all that, right? It ain't. Don't ask me. Don't tell me. It ain't happening. I'm trying to go to a PV. I'm trying to go to a PV game. I want to see all 10 of their fans. But I'm definitely going to try to go some MEAC. I'm going to try to do more MEAC games this year. And maybe I want to go to the Aggie Eagle Classic. I think that's a game that I would definitely love to go to is the Aggie Eagle Classic. So, but yeah, man, that's it.
For me, I got to kind of spread myself a little bit wider than Scotty because he could just pick all the HBCU games, but I will probably be at the MEAC SWAC Challenge week 0. There's not a lot of games that week anyway. Jackson, South Carolina State, a big rematch. I'll probably be at that one. My plan right now is the 30th to be at Central when they play Campbell in that rematch. I really want to go see North Carolina Central versus Campbell. And then also the other HBCU game on my schedule is the Florida Classic at the end of the year on the 25th of November. So those are my, 3 HBCU games. Also Tennessee State, Notre Dame. I'm going to get an opportunity to go film that game and take photos and stuff. I can't pass up a chance to go be on the sidelines for a Notre Dame game. So those are probably the 4 HBCU games. And I got a few open dates. I'll probably add a few, but the SWAC hasn't released their schedule. So I don't know when some of these games are going to be on what day. So after that, I'll probably pick a few other games to go to.
All right. Last question. Is the honeymoon over for Dooley out there in Sutherland?
Oh, it was over. It was over.
That's all I got.
It was over at the SWAC championship. Matter of fact, it was over. It was this close to being over. It was over at the Bayou Classic. That's when the honeymoon season was over. Was at the Bayou Classic when everybody saw how bad Bashawn McCray looked, and he just kept sticking with him. Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And listen, I probably will go to the Orange Blossom Classic because it's not in Jackson. But any Jackson games in Jackson, yeah, that ain't happening. That's a done deal. We're not. Oh, I'm gonna be at Daytona a lot. Oh yeah. My girl love Daytona. We gonna be in Bethune kicking it. we gonna be in Daytona kicking it, boy. She loves some beach, so that is what it is. But I definitely want to see some MEAC games. I definitely gonna try to shoot up to Morgan, see some Morgan games, and go back home and stuff like that. See some of that stuff, and whatever. So. Probably, I think the homecomings is where I'm trying to expand my homecoming palette and go to some different homecomings. Mr. Sargent, coming to you.
What's up, sir? Here's my top 4 list. My top 4 list of people who are on the hot seat. Number 4, the SWAC commissioner. When these historically black colleges see the pennies they're going to be getting from this contract that he got us into with HBCU Go, he's going to be asked to go. Number 3, my brother off script, Scotty. Because you keep saying every single time you on the show, my fiance, and you know you need to get to say my wife. So if you don't stop saying that my fiance stuff, you're going to be asked to go. Number 3.
That's fair.
Number 3, the coach at Grambling. I'm not even going to say his name because he don't know how to spell the word win. I don't even think he know what letter it began with. Number 1. Am I on number 2? Yeah, number 2.
Yeah.
All right, you ready? Number 2. All right. I hate to say this. Oh my God. I can't believe I say this. The president of Florida A&M University.
Ooh.
If we have any kind of problems with our football team, basketball team, baseball team, when it comes to graduation rates, APR, if it comes to eligibility, people being able to get on the field, any of that kind of stuff, he's gone. He's gone. All right. And the number 1 person that's on the hot seat, the commissioner over there at the MEAC, if she don't get somebody to help her with her wardrobe. All right, that's all I got, brother. Take care.
The thoughts and thoughts and words from Mr. Sargent are not representative of Offscript LLC or the Bluebloods, LLC.
Christ, boy, y'all be trying to listen. Oh God.
Look, and then they ask Scotty, what they comment on our channel is like, why did y'all get credentials for this game? It's because you called in and was talking about her wardrobe, calling in, talking about everybody should be fired. And then you're asking me, I don't have the access to cover your school, and you're calling in, burning all my bridges for me. I didn't even ask for the bridges to be burned. You're just setting fire to the whole city.
Oh my goodness. That's I mean, I do it to myself, so I can't really blame most of my callers, but I get it on your end. Me, I just be setting, I set it ablaze. And I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna keep saying it. I'll be surprised if the SWAC commissioner is the commissioner after 2 years. I'll be surprised. I'm not gonna lie. I'm telling you.
She's so nice though.
No, not her. I'm talking about McNugget. If he,
I haven't met him, but
yeah. He's gonna be. Yeah, I think he's gonna be fired pretty soon. I ain't gonna lie to you. Is that how they are such an awesome thing? HBCU, okay, Sonic Boom, but I just think he's gonna be fired. Like I said, some stuff coming down the pipe. What's up, Doc?
What's up, man? Y'all tripping over there, bro. What's going on, Blue?
What's up, man?
Hey, get back to that transfer portal, the NCAA rule that I was talking about earlier. So if you have to transfer 8 times just because you're not getting that type of playing time, my brother, you just need to go play flag football or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Just go ahead and get your certification, become a plumber, become an electrician, because college ain't going to be the best thing for you right now. But I think that is a good rule to have with that type of waiver. You want to have that because that kind of controls that. It kind of puts some sort of control with the transfer portal. And then my people on the hot seat for next season. I mean, first of all, I'm gonna put Dawson Moses on the hot seat because of the simple fact that his turnover rate with his kids is too damn high because we don't know what's going on with them. Dooley is up there because you fumble the bag with your quarterback situation, and I'm gonna put Clarence McKinney. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have to put Clarence McKinney up there because of the fact that if you can't get over the hump this coming up season, then yeah, you need to be out of there. I'm not even gonna put the commissioner up there. I want to see what he does as far as this year. And hey, Scotty, yeah, I'm gonna say this, bro. Yesterday when you had that put that sermon on there, bro, I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I was in my seat crying, tears of joy because we've all been through that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
I mean, I've been, I've been through divorce. You've been through divorce twice, so you got me beat, my brother. You got me beat. But you know what I'm saying? Sometimes we need that affirmation. We just need to sit there, and let it out because it ain't good to keep that stuff in. And when you was talking about that, you felt like you wasn't good enough. It hit me on the real. It hit me on the real because when you get in that dark place, you don't want to be in that dark place right now. And glad that you and Keela, I mean, y'all I'm blessed y'all marriage. It's gonna be fruitful, and you know what I'm saying. It's gonna be good. And I can tell people we can agree to disagree. I don't like, you know what I'm saying. I'm cool with you, and you cool with me. We don't have to agree with everything that goes on, but you know what I'm saying. Much respect to you and everything that you got going on, bro.
Hey man, I appreciate that, Doc. Appreciate it. Yeah, man. It's disclaimers. Man, I appreciate everybody for calling in. We gonna shut this down because me and Blue got some stuff to do. So, hey, Blue, let people know what you got going on, and I'm gonna we gonna get up out of here.
Yeah, man. Relaunched the website last night, man. The Bluebloods CFB. Now we're getting rid of all the podcasts, monikers across everything. So new logo being in the works as well. Interview with new Townsend head coach Pete Shinnick was available yesterday. The article up on the website as well. Also got an interview with Giovanni McCoy, Idaho quarterback at the FCS National Championship. In the past 2 days, I've been a little busy. I had an interview last night with Vincent, new North Carolina A&T head coach. That'll be out Monday. Then also talked to Ed Lamb, new head coach at Northern Colorado this morning. That interview will be out sometime next week. And then next week, I got an interview with new Incarnate Word head coach Clint Killiu. We're talking about what's going on over at Incarnate Word. Scotty, they landed 9 FBS transfers in the past 2 days.
Yeah, I've been seeing this. I've been seeing them post on their Twitter. It's been crazy. All that red in the background. So yeah, I've been seeing it.
It's going to be disgusting. But other than that, man, all season content on the way. A lot of stuff coming down the pipeline. Got a few other coaches interviews in the works, man. Just got to nail down some dates, man.
All right, that's what's up, man. Listen, today I'll be doing a live interview with Coach DT going to the XFL, talking about that experience last season. That's going to happen tonight at 7:30. And that's pretty much it, man. We're gonna keep riding this wave and keep dropping content as much as we possibly can, man. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. You already know what it is, the Roundtable. Me, my boy Blue. And listen, until next time, you know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna holla. God bless.